Welcome to Soul Fire Ascension. This space is held by Raven, founder of Soul Fire Ascension and Raven's Healing Arts, a sacred place of healing, transformation, and remembrance. Raven is a clinical and past life soul regression hypnotherapist, Reiki master teacher, angelic alchemy practitioner, and spiritual coach. Her work bridges grounded therapeutic healing with soul remembrance, guiding others through past life regression, Akashic exploration, and deep transformational healing. She walks this path with wisdom and grace, grounded like Raven and led by the heart of White Dove Dancing. Walking beside her is Lisa Lovelight, a cosmic human in the living process of remembering who she truly is. Working through the heart, the field, and the unseen, Lisa guides others back to their own knowing. She is a past life healing hypnosis practitioner, Reiki master, intuitive healer, and transformational coach, weaving energy, remembrance, and quantum awareness to help others reconnect with their soul's truth and release what no longer belongs. Through Sacred Heart Quantum Healing, Lisa holds space for deep restoration, multidimensional healing, and the awakening of the authentic self, inviting the heart to lead where the mind once ruled. Together, Raven and Lisa hold a shared intention to awaken remembrance, to gently dismantle inherited programming, and to reveal the truth that healing lives within us. Here we explore ancient wisdom, living energy, and the knowing that when we heal ourselves, we heal our ancestors and future generations. May what is shared here serve your remembering, soften what is ready to release, and awaken the truth already living within you. Welcome to Soul Fire Ascension. Welcome to Soul Fire Ascension. We have a special guest today, and let's do his little promotional video so we don't have to sit and explain who he is. Let's see, gotta find it. Oh yeah, now I have to go looking for it.
Well, that's okay. As you look, here we are.
Here we are. Fire Ascension welcomes Siddha Yoga James, founder of the Liam Yoga community and creator of the Siddhasana tradition. With over 40 years of experience in yoga, breathwork, and meditation, James bridges the worlds of science, spirituality, fitness, and metaphysics to help others awaken their divine consciousness. In this sacred conversation, James shares how the practice of yoga consciousness can transform suffering into strength, restore the body's natural harmony, and open the gateway to higher awareness. He reveals how asana, breath, and stillness can become medicine for the soul, aligning the body, mind, and spirit with the Creator's tender mercy. So take a deep breath, center your energy, join us in this sacred conversation on the Breath of Awakening, Yoga Consciousness with Siddha Yoga James. Breathe, move, awaken. Live February 13th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Watch on YouTube and on Rumble at Soul Fire Ascension, or listen anytime on Spotify. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring conversations. Awesome. Oh, now let me I'm usually right on top of removing things, but oh well. Today is a special day, I guess. Greetings. And so, did I pronounce that wrong? Is it not Liam? Is it I am?
It's I am, but 2 I's is illegal in English, so it changes it to a L.
Okay. Well, then I apologize for massacring your name.
That's okay. That's fine.
Welcome in on this Friday, the 13th. You know, the number 13 is been distorted because in my world and in my reality, that number 13 is a beautiful divine number that is connected to the sacred divine feminine. So gratitude for you joining us on this beautiful sacred day. I am.
Yes. Thank you. Thank
you. Sorry, in my world, the number 13 is a master's number. So, but, you know, the dark forces today tried to make me believe it was inverted, but I didn't believe it.
Okay.
Regardless of what happens, right?
Right. Regardless of what happened.
Understood.
And how about you, brother? How was your day today?
Content. I had a very fulfilling day.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, a very fulfilling day. Anytime I'm breathing, I'm okay.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us. I know we tried to get together with you at the end of 2025, but life happened. And here we are now.
Yes.
So excited to generally in the beginning of our show, we do like to hear a little bit about our guests. And if you don't mind sharing what you would like with us and our viewers,
yes.
What brought, how you arrived to all that you hold in your wisdom.
By grace, by I always tell people, being a yoga student teacher, I did not come out of the light. I came up out of the darkness. I rose up from the dark into yoga, and I was doing yoga before I knew it was yoga. And by the time yoga had waking up in me as a vehicle to intelligent infinity, or vehicle into the interdimensions, what we call interdimensions, I was on my way to prison. And true story, the judge I was in front of wasn't my first time in front of him, and he and I represented myself. At the time, I didn't have the implants in my ears. I had the hearing aids, and I would refuse an interpreter. And he and I would argue a lot. So he held me in contempt of court, and he put me in a cell, and I was facing 4 to 8 years in prison. In fact, this day, I was supposed to go to prison for 48 years. But he held me in contempt of court, put me in a cell, and he was nice enough to come back there, sit down with me, and hey, listen, I know your story. I know what happened to you. I know you're not a bad person or a criminal, but you're not an attorney, and you can't come in my courtroom representing yourself. What are you going to do with your life? And for the first time in my life, I didn't know I had a life. I didn't, let alone what I was going to do with it. And I sat in that cell for 4 hours, contemplating, wow, and that insanity, jail cell. I got a life. Oh, wow. What am I going to do? And finally, they called my name like 4 hours later, and I stepped onto the courtroom, got in front of the judge, and he asked me, what are you going to do with your life? And it was like a billion suns went off in my head, and I heard yoga. do yoga. By now, I was already adept at yoga. And it never dawned on me that I was a yogi and I can do yoga. But at that moment, all the pieces of the puzzle of me and the universe came together. And I screamed in the courtroom, yoga. And no one was offended. And the judge looked at me and said, good, get out of my courtroom and go do your yoga. I did not go to prison. I stepped out of the courtroom and my life hasn't been the same since.
Wow.
Wow. May I ask how many years ago that was?
That was late 90s.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
incredible.
So, yeah. So, and yoga is the kind of thing where is well, not everyone, because I just was fortunate. I always tell people my blessing was getting shot in my head. I got shot in my head when I was 9 years old, during a home invasion, and I spent the next 4.5 years in a coma, in and out of a coma, and I had the most amazing experience in a coma, and that's where I found yoga, and had it not been for that experience, I don't know where my life would be, but it was that trauma, that traumatic event that launched this career. And I'm grateful. I'm just humbled and grateful that this path has been absolutely full of grace, I mean, amazing.
I agree with Deborah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
It is amazing. And the synchronicities that happen to us that put us on the path that we're supposed to be on,
Yes.
And sometimes I can see people's auras, and I can see your aura is like super, super bright. It's kind of a bluish green, and it's just bouncing around. I don't see everybody's auras. Just every once in a while I see them. But
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. So 4 years you were in a coma, in and out of a coma.
In and out, yes.
In and out.
Wow.
Yes. In and out of a coma, yeah. And the travel, the journey in a coma was when I was 9 years old when I woke up, and I woke up in a coma. I had no idea I got shot. I didn't know took 26 years for me to remember getting shot, and no memory of what happened. And when I woke up in a coma, I was in a light foam, had no body, and that's the first thing I looked for was a body. There was no body, there was this being like cradling me, and this gigantic being, not in size but in glory, and the being told me that they were my seraphic guardian and destiny, and we were on our way to the mansion world. And I'm 9 years old. I'm like, cool, let's go, and I happened to realize I had these other senses they were waking up. I had like this omni vision, and I could see Earth. And as we traveled, Earth was getting smaller and smaller. And I realized this is real, And it was in that moment getting shot so insignificant. Whatever Earth was or wasn't felt so small. It was like so much more in this moment, And we ended up traveling to the mansion worlds. And actually, when we landed on like this glass water-like surface that was a planet. But I didn't know it was a planet until I stepped on it, and there was this magnetic connection. The planet was alive. It was a living being. We landed on a living being. And it was in that moment that I realized there was nothing but life. There was no such thing as death. There was no such thing as life as we understand it on our planet. And soon as that started happening, I felt the quake and I started shaking. And boom, I woke up in the hospital. They was reviving me with a defibrillator. And and I was like, stop, I want to go back. And he put me on suicide watch. So he's trying to kill himself. They put me on suicide watch. Yeah. So and that went on quite a few times, you know. It was just in hindsight, remembering the experience and writing about it. My 4.5 years in and out of the coma was 4.5 years in multiple bodies, multiple consciousnesses, multiple dimensions, as a multiple being that I have detailed files of, you know. And yeah, so I had what's called full throttle memory in neuroscience. So I remember my past lives in details, you know. And it's just been a phenomenal journey, you know. Like I'm just humbled, you know, like very, very humbled, and you know, very, very humbled at the grace of the universal rule. I say universal rulers because I didn't see God up there. I didn't meet a God, and I met an administration, that divine administration that is unified in a way that we would never really grasp with our minds. But if you ever had the experience of that environment, that outside of this body, I don't think a person would ever say God again. Not in the context as we understand.
Right.
Right. On our planet, we say God according to religion, and it's something far more gracious and glory up there than and beautiful than what we understand. And just the mind don't grasp it. The mind doesn't have the ability to. The imagination does. Our imagination is connected to it. So if we can use our imagination to imagine creation and creator, we will have a expanded and illuminated understanding and awareness of creation and creator.
I love the way you said that.
Yeah.
Illuminated.
Yes.
Well, Raven and I, we use and utilize our imagination. We also do or perform hypnosis. So her and I both have led journeys for our clients and listened to their other experiences. So yes, we are multidimensional, and yes, I know Raven has experienced it as I have. Our fractals of multidimensional self. So, but it's an amazing, just words do not describe what we are outside of this physical illusion that we're submerged in right now.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's an illusion, and a lot of the illusions are programmed into us. And so let's say, okay, give us a little synopsis if nobody understands what actually you do with yoga. Tell us about yoga.
Okay. So I teach yoga. I'm not a traditional yoga instructor or teacher. I didn't learn yoga in a classroom or in the studio. I have taught. I have gotten certified by virtue of my students urging me and being a part of the world. My first yoga experience was in a coma. So when I was in a coma, I had tubes everywhere. Tubes in my nose, my anus, my ears. I had tubes everywhere. And when I was in the coma, and my Seraphim would take me on these travels. In the background, there would be this virtual like experience, and there was like these avatars, and they would be doing these poses, they would be doing this breath work, and they would be communicating to me how to heal myself. So I found out that when I was in a coma, I would be moving, and they would be, what is he doing? So um so I remember, like, I when I came out the coma one time, I couldn't breathe. Breathing was I had pulmonary embolisms, blood clots in my upper respiratory. It was killing me. I was dying. It was definitely killing me. I ended up in hospice, and I remember I was laying in the bed. I woke up, and I got a vision of the avatars. They literally appeared in front of me and demonstrated a headstand. Now, I still had the sutures. My skull was put back on my head, and I had the stitches around my skull still. But I had to do something because I couldn't breathe, and it felt like at any given moment it was over. And I was strapped to a gurney, but by now I had stole so many scapulars and doctor's devices. So I had one under the pillow, and I took it and I cut off the strap, and I seen a corner in the wall that would hold me perfectly, but I had to get to the wall. It was like 5 feet away. It took all the strength in me to get to this 5 feet corner. And I got to this 5 feet corner, and I went up in a headstand, mind you, and my skull wasn't, and I can breathe. Wow. Oh my God, I can breathe so clearly. And it was I felt life returning to the body. My nurse walked in, saw me, screamed so loud, I defecated on myself. And it woke my mother up, who screamed, and it was, and they put me on triple suicide watch. So he's trying to kill himself.
From over a headstand, because you're trying to do a headstand to breathe.
Yes. But they didn't know, they thought I was crazy. But the funny thing about it is that I just kept doing it. So finally they just left me alone. Leave him. He's just crazy. But it started. So the science of it is the inversion. So going inverted automatically puts pressure on the pituitary gland, and in turn, with my condition, I was forced to take my tongue and put it on the roof of my mouth for some reason in that position, given my health, and I was able to reach the back of the soft pilot, which stimulated the vagus nerve, and it caused my entire body to relax and caused life force energy to stop the decay of my body, because there was less oxygen, there was no oxidation, there was less carbon dioxide, there was less blood flow. And so my body needed less oxygen. So there was less decay happening, and the life force was able to restore. And of course, I didn't find all this out till later, but that's exactly what was going on inside, as a result of this inversion. Even to this day, when people do headstands or inversions, specifically the headstand. Headstand is superior to a handstand simply because of the secretion of the pituitary gland, activation of the frontal lobe and pineal glands, and the vagus nerve. So you have multiple vital energies happening inside that is preventing oxidation, which causes rust, because there's less blood flow. There's more blood flow with oxidation and more activity within. So that produces more poop, it produces more urine, it produces more sweat, more lactic acid, more cortisol. So inversions accesses the central nervous system rather than the sympathetic nervous system, which is fight or freeze. So inversions is something that people should get into, because it is the fountain of youth.
That's very interesting.
Yes.
Now, you do yoga breath, and you teach different breathing exercises. Am I correct? Or
Absolutely correct. Absolutely. So breath work, pranayama, and not only pranayama, there's other traditions belonging to the martial arts or the Asian traditions, like Tai Chi, Qigong. There's a host of Reiki. There's a host of different forms of breath work. I just think that yoga is more comprehensive. And what I mean by comprehensive, there's some breath works in yoga, pranayama, that you don't have a direct experience of. Here's one of them. So there's a breath work in yoga called Brahmari. And Brahmari is humming, bee humming. And you have to channel that hum into the sinuses so that it can get into the center and vibrate the pituitary gland. Well, that creates something called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the primary ingredient in Viagra. It's a primary ingredient in men or women that have reproductive issues or sexual issues. So this nitric oxide, and that is produced naturally from this bee humming. And as you know, when bees are attacked, they vibrate, and the vibrations literally fry the predator. So when you practice Brahmari pranayama and you vibrate the sinuses, it in turn creates a gas that stimulates the pituitary, the vagus nerve, which is the nerve of vitality of the body. So there's a restoration that takes place as a result of frequency, a sound that literally extends beyond the body and connects to the environment. Everything has a sound, everything has a frequency, everything has this life force frequency and vibration into it. So this is something that I teach when my students are in dire straits, meaning that they are on the brink of poverty. Their self-doubt is grave. The character defects is raging. Their shortcomings, they're out of control. So I teach them this and mind you, no one, how is this humming going to help me? How is this? But once they begin to practice it and they start to have an experience of the results, it carries them to it helps them stand. So yeah, so breath work is something that I'm big on. I always teach it. I always do many posts on breath work and meditation. But primarily, I choose breath work because you can't meditate unless you do breath work. The two are actually the same at the opposite ends of the same coin. But in order to accomplish breath meditation, you have to do breath work. You must be able to control your breath. And breath control don't mean it's not controlling your breath. It's trusting the breath. It's trusting it. There's a relationship that develops, and that relationship opens the meridians and portals and channels inside, so that the life force, the breath is alive. It's a living being. It's the spirit of the creator of all. It knows what to do. It's intelligent. As a matter of fact, it is so intelligent that if you have an illness or if you have something wrong with your body, no matter what it may be, cancer, congested heart failure, if you practice breath work, it will inform you something is wrong. And now you can go and use medicine and science, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Medicine and science is a gift from above. It will also begin to heal. So you can use breath work to heal any disease, any virus in the body. Why? Because again, it's designed to stop and prevent decay. I mean, it would change your diet. It would change your habits. For instance, I always tell my students, if you cultivate distrust, like if you're a person who cultivates distrust, like you're not a trusting person, well, that's what you will receive back, distrust. Yep. If you're a person, yes. If you're a person that cultivates trust, what you're going to get back is distrust. Why? Because distrust is always trying to raise its frequency to trust. So, but if you cultivate trust, you can't be harmed. Sure, you have some experiences, but you won't be touched as if you're a person who always cultivates distrust. You will always receive that distrust and it will always reach you. But when you cultivate trust, distrust will never reach you because you're one who are cultivating the higher fruits of the spirit. The lower fruits of the spirit are too heavy. They can't come up. The higher fruits always have to reach the lower fruits for healing. So yes.
It's beautiful.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. So I just want to rephrase this for those who didn't catch it when you said it, that breath work can heal. Remember, this is, I don't know what our disclaimer, like we're not doctors. We're not,
No.
but we are highlighting other ways to remain healthy and vibrant, filled with life. So what you're saying is the breath, when taking a key focus and focusing on the breath, it will help slow or stop any decay that is occurring in the body.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. So sometimes medicine and science is very important. I mean, there's some parts of the body and being where the energies or the organ or the system has already atrophied, and there's no amount of breathing that's going to bring that back, of course. So there's some circumstances where you have just gone too far or you didn't catch it early enough. Yes, of course. So I stand corrected in that. But what I am implying is breath work. Everything in life give you a warning before it happened. So if you are a person who consistently practice breath work, the breath is an intelligence. It knows what to do. It's the living spirit of the creator of all. So when you are inhaling, its function is efficiency. And like I always tell people, meditation and breath work is not for peace and tranquility. It is not to see God. It is seeing God and peace and tranquility is a side effect. It's a byproduct of the practice. The purpose of breath work and meditation is efficiency, function. It's vitality. It's to maintain vitality. It's to get rid of the illusions, to get rid of the distortions that happen that prevent you from having an experience with your God essence. But the goal of breath work is not to see God, it's survival. It's actual survival. So the masters who created meditation, I'm not one of them. I had the pleasure of meeting a couple. It's cold in the Himalaya mountain. It's freezing up there. It's cold in Mount Kilimanjaro and these other places. Where they have gone and discovered these practice with the animals, the tigers, the leopards. It's dangerous. So they had to find ways to cultivate a way of survival. And what they discovered was that the life force energy is in everything. Trees, earth technology. Everything is made of earth. This sweater, skin, your phone, your car, your cup, a doorknob, a cockroach. And at the atomic level, it is the same. Protons, they're all the same. Right? Even the sun, all the same. And so that's the language that breathwork communicates to. It communicates to the language of the life force. And when you communicate to that life force, you become lighter. Now you become lighter. Your diet changes. Your thinking changes. Your habits change. Even if you're in a toxic relationship, an abusive relationship, if you're in poverty, if you're homeless, I have homeless students practicing yoga. Yeah, so breath work is one of them things where when the spirit of the creator of all enters you, it searches all things. It searches all things, and it will inform you. And it's not like a guilt or innocent. It's more like a restoration. It's more like a return, a awakening, a remembering of wait a minute, So I'll shut up with this. So there's a meditation that a famous meditation in yoga called they call it regression therapy in the professional sciences, but in yoga it's called I can't remember the name of it. However, what it is reviewing your life, playing your tapes backwards, and you stick close to the things that affected you the most. Like for me, I missed my grandfather's funeral, so that was very painful for me. So you stick close and you keep playing your tapes backwards in meditation, and you try to go all the way back to the time when you arrived on the planet. And for every one of us, it's somewhere between the ages of 3 and 5. I have detailed files of when I arrived here. As a matter of fact, I know where I came. I came from near eternity, and I'm on my way to all infinity. We all are. It's just that I was able to remember the moment that I arrived inside this body. I mean, literally woke up inside this body, and I was watching Captain Kangaroo, and I saw an Indian get shot, and this red thing fell out of his body. And I sat there and watched and asked my mom, what is that? And she told me that he was dead and was going to be with Jesus in heaven. I'm 5 years old, and it just didn't compute, and I backed away from the television, and I ended up on our front porch. I looked up, I saw the so-called sun, and I did like this. And I realized I was here. And I said, what is this? Why am I here? And I heard to master this. It was like an anointing. It was like a permission. And I said, the master what? It said everything. I understood everything. I understood the sun. I felt nothing separate from myself. It was just and then I became human. All the human stuff got stuffed on it. And I forgot who I was. I forgot why I was here. And lo and behold, the injury reawakened that journey. And it took me 26 years to remember getting shot. And when I remember getting shot, I remembered why I'm here, when I arrived here.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Now, and if you don't mind, if I can ask you, because if I remember correctly, didn't you also mention that you have a doctorate in metaphysics?
Yes, I do have a doctorate in metaphysics from Bihar University in India.
India?
Yes.
So does that mean that, this might be a blonde moment, pardon me, does that mean you went to India?
Yes, I spent approximately 8 years in India, off and on. In between India and Sri Lanka, off and on for 8 years. The woman that took me to India, her name was Geeta. She's now an ancestor. I met Geeta when I came home from the coma. I was doing yoga in the park in Brooklyn. She just would show up in the park. I didn't know her. And I didn't even know I was doing yoga. And one day she just approached me and was like, let's go. She knew sign language. I didn't have the implants. She knew sign language. And I said, go where? She says, let's go speak to your parents. I said, for what? You know, she said, I want to take you to India to learn yoga. I said, miss you out of your mind. Now, this is Brooklyn, Bedford-Stuyvesant. So I did. I took her home. I told my aunt, I said, this crazy lady want to talk to you. She was like, oh, what's up? She said, I want to take him to India, learn yoga. My aunt was like, okay. Well, at the time, I hated you. I hated the world. I hated losing my, it was a different world, losing my hearing. The world just was a different world. I didn't want to be here. And she took me to Bihar, India. And it was the best move I ever made in my life. All I did was chop wood and carry water for 8 years in a satsang, and study. That was it. In the study. Now, the United States does not recognize metaphysics as a science. It considers it to be a theological science. So, yeah. So that's only, and I've never used it. I've never used this credential. I've never used it other than what I do now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. And you mentioned something about the Himalayas. Were you there as well?
Yes. I went to Tamil. Let me see. Not Kathmandu. I went to Tamil, which is more on the Nepal side. I was sent there to meet a master who he was famous for, well, not famous, but he was known for teaching brahmacharyas. And brahmacharyas are people who retire from the sex life and become monks. But they don't call them monks there. They call them seers or sages in India. And so I was sent to meet him. It was 7,000 feet, freezing. 7,000 feet above. Now I'm an American, so I'm not. So when I finally reached him, I had a guide for about a good 4 miles, and finally left me alone, gave me the path, and it's funny because when I still remember it, so I had to like climb up into this cave. And I can see him. He's right there, and he's meditating in the cave. He had the fire going on, because it's cold. And I'm like, help! What is it? I'm trying to remember the Sanskrit word for help. I'm trying to call him. He knows I'm there, but he's not moving. So I'm like, man. So I'm trying to get up in there, and I put my head down for 1 second. I look up. He's right there, and he kicks me. What? Boom! And he kicks me, and I roll back down the mountain, and I am, of course, I'm irate. I'm angry. So I climbed up this thing with no problem, and I walked in there. I said, man, what's your problem? He said, yeah, you asked for help. I helped you. And I caught the lesson. I literally caught the lessons. But by him kicking me, I was the energy gave me enough strength to climb up. And I did ask for help. The help came.
Yeah.
And I spent about 6 months with him. We barely talked. Everything was a gesture. Everything was in silence. Everything was in stillness. And ironically, everything was in tune with sun energy, which was outward and active. That's when we gathered the water, we chopped wood. And the moon energy was inward and passive. That's when we meditated, took meal. It just was an amazing experience of, you can't do that in the United States. You can't go and chop trees down and build a cave and live in it, because the United States wants to tax everything. But in India, you could do that. So it was, that experience left me with the ability to be able to be alone, but without feeling lonely. because you could feel the presence of the creative all in creation as one, surround you and in you and as you. So yes, yeah, I did have that good experience there.
Wow. That sounds like an interesting experience that you had, especially with the just movements and symbols and gestures versus a language, right?
Yes.
So it probably taught you a different way to navigate the way you communicate, as well as going with the cyclical sun, moving energy, moon, peaceful, restoring. So, and if we can, I just want to talk a little bit more about breath work, because first of all, very underrated. This is so underrated. I mean, look at what happened in 2020 when they wanted us to cover up our good ass prana, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
they wanted to cut us off from our life force. And for those who are listening now or in the future, you know, I just want them to really understand how this breath work is pivotal for our highest healing and our highest timeline. Because not only are we just putting more oxygen into our blood cells, I mean, it's so much more than that. And if I'm not mistaken, it, like, number one is the nervous system. The breath work assists the nervous system.
Yes.
And, you know, if I could share a little bit about myself in the past, like 4 to 5 months, I've had a lot of high stress, almost nervous breakdowns. But then when I remembered the breath and pause and stop myself and, you know, remembering the breath work, it helped me restore my sanity and my nervous system. And our nervous system is programmed with traumas and those automatic responses that we have to fight or flight. So let me ask you this, brother. When it comes to breath work, can we reprogram like our resting breath? Because if I'm not mistaken, a lot of us don't even realize it, that we're just like on autopilot as we're navigating through our day, and we're not breathing properly.
Correct.
And the breath also helps with anxiety. And a lot of people who experience anxiety, it's because they're not breathing appropriately or properly. Am I
absolutely
correct?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So I have metal fragments and parts of the bone from my father's hand still pressing against the left side of my brain. So I suffer from anxiety and inflammation like you wouldn't believe. And my nose is super strong, so I can get claustrophobic in a car just from the smell of the car. I can smell everything. My nose is like super strong. This is a side effect of getting shot in your head. And so yes, and it's real simple too. So in the morning or during the course of the day, but preferably in the morning, you could just about tell the health of your central nervous system by virtue of your nostrils. So when you breathe, if the right nostril is more clear than the other, then you are having parasympathetic dominance, and that's rest and digestion, because that's what just happens. And that's the central nervous system's job. When you go to rest, the cerebral fluid opens the tracts and channels so that the lymphatic system can drain the tension and stress and toxicity out the body. However, depending on the grade of the stress that your body was under, you may wake up and one nostril may be clearer than the other. So if the left side is more clearer than the right, then you are under sympathetic nervous system dominance. You're still in fight, freeze mode. That means that there was some trauma no matter what it may have been, the job, worry about the bills, and generally it's usually a central nervous system issue. Worry, concern, resentment, unforgiveness. The gravity of that, it builds, it aggregates, and accumulates. So when you wake up in the morning, specifically, and your nostrils is not clear, and then it's another test you can do. You can put your hand anytime through the day. You can put your hand on your chest and one right by your navel, and just breathe gently. And if your chest rises before your stomach, you are breathing under duress. That means once some organ in your body is compensating and losing, not getting the proper energy, because it has to help your body breathe. And this is very, very serious. So, and even with that test, you can start correcting that by focusing the breathing down into the abdomen, diaphragmatic breathing. It will start to happen instantly. It will start to happen instantly. But we breathe. Yes, we are not, and especially in the United States, we are under attack. Our health is under attack, and the more that they can keep us in this state of central nervous system stress, the less control we have over, less clarity we have, and less executive control we have over critical decisions. And so breath work is designed to bring that stasis back. And don't need a whole hour, 2 to 7 minutes of rhythmic breathing will return the left and right hemispheres of the brain, the vestibular system, vestibular, I can't pronounce it, but it's the system in the ears where the balance happens at. So rhythmic breathing, deep, gentle breathing with a naturally curved spine will return the body back to stasis at any time, anywhere during the day. Now, depending on who you are and the gravity of what your health is like, that may not be enough. However, if it's not enough, you have alternate nostril breathing, which is guaranteeing to bring the body back to stasis, at least so you can have clarity to think your way through a situation. And actually, it's not thinking, it's non-thinking. Because thinking produces the stress. So it's the clarity. The clarity is what you are seeking when you breathe. So here's a perfect example. So I'm let's say I'm under stress and duress because very simple. If you breathe real fast, and this is generally like somebody that's working out, they're in the gym and they're breathing real fast. They're breathing in stress because the body is producing cortisol and lactic acid in the muscles because parasympathetic nervous system is taking over because you put the body under stress. You cannot think. You cannot have clarity in that mode. It's impossible. It's impossible. So me and you were to breathe real fast. Try to think about what you have to do in the next hour or tomorrow. Even if you just breathe fast, slow. It's very difficult to channel or have clarity. Now, pause and take a deep, gentle breath. Instant clarity of executive critical decision. Instant. And that translates throughout all the system. It connects to all the systems and organs of the body, specifically the central nervous system, the brain, which in turn relates it to the thymus and thyroid, which in turn relates it to the heart, the lungs, the kidney. So there's a chain effect happening when breath work is done. Problem is we don't do it enough. It's not done on a consistent basis enough to regulate affairs. For instance, and then I'll shut up with this. So
You don't
when
have,
you are
you don't
thank
have
you.
to shut up.
Okay. When you're breathing properly, right? When you have this rhythmic breathing, or if you have diaphragmatic breathing, or if you have an alternate nostril breathing, there's a balance happening. And what happens is the systems are in sync. The circadian rhythm is now in sync. And so it takes less enzymes to digest foods. And because it takes less enzymes to digest food, you eat less. So your diet, and not only will you eat less, the enzymes that digest foods, which is the primary enzyme, is sulfur. Sulfur is the primary, and what that does, it loves sattvic foods, fruits, natural things that grow, not stuff that is made in laboratories, or what do you call it? What kind of foods is it?
Engineered.
Yes. So there's a whole synergy happening when you are breathing properly, and that's what I meant by healing. The central nervous system. Breath work is so powerful that there's a breath work called telomeres. There's also sanctioning breath, and I don't teach these breaths because these breaths, I would want someone to be advanced in breath work before I would teach them these breath works, because these breath works puts the body under stress and duress, so that the central nervous system can act like you're having a heart attack or a stroke. Why? Because the stem cells or the T cells activate. The white blood cells go into war. All the fighters come out that repair the body. The army that repairs the body cells, the bone marrow, the central nervous system just reacts and sends them all out. And what happens is decaying stops. So aging stops. Aging cessates. It slows down at a rate. And you have people now studying this and realizing that it's through the breath that all this is activated within the body. So this body, this spacesuit, I call it a spacesuit, right? Because we're in space, right? And this spacesuit was built specifically for this planet, Earth, that we call Earth. It has technology not only to cure you and heal you, but to help you become immortal. So there are yogis who literally choose to die, choose to leave the body, right? They know how to they know how to navigate and lift their soul up out their body. Of course, that takes some skill and practice, and it's not like you're going to learn that overnight. I've never met none, but I have met some that have met some, and I've seen some of the books. Like the Tibetan Book of the Dead is a very good book that is the study of death. And you find death is only the continuation of life. There's no such thing as death. We are all just passing through. No one, Earth isn't going to be here forever. Nothing is going to be here forever. But breath work, pranayama, and some other very powerful breath works, like what's it? Oh my God, I forget his name. Wolf. What's the guy that jumps into the Arctic Ocean and he stays warm? Huff. William Huff. Yes. Well, he practices Tumo. And Tumo is a life-saving, you have the yogis up 12,000 feet up in the Himalayas practicing the same breath work, walking around with a lion's cloth on only. No t-shirt, no coat, no nothing. And because of the way they breathe, they know how to stimulate the fire inside through breath work to sustain life. And vice versa. There's the cooling breath as well. There's you could be in very arid, harsh temperatures, and there's a breath work called there's a couple of them solari that will cool the body.
George Barnhill says William Hoff, the Iceman. Wim Hof.
Wim Hof, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I got his name wrong. I always get his name wrong.
That's okay.
That's
I love
incredible. That is just I mean, just the thought about being able to regulate your body's temperature just by your breath is, and like you said, the skin suit that we come here and land in, it's equipped to help us manage. We're just not taught. We're not given the manual how to be human. We have to struggle and figure it out. Some of us, some get it nice and easy, but us others, sometimes we have to have a little rough. And your journey by any means was not a little rough. My goodness, brother, you are a walking miracle. Like you said, you are proof of grace.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for deciding to stay here on earth, because your soul, you knew you had a mission. You knew that it wasn't time to exit. You knew that you had to learn and grow so that you could teach and inspire. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, I appreciate being here. This is beautiful. You got a great panel here. Lovely panel.
Well, we're really enjoying you. And we would like to ask you the question that we ask all of our guests. What message would you like to leave our audience with today?
Do the impossible. Meet the challenge of yourself and our world, and go do the impossible. No matter where you at. If you live in a shelter, in a mansion, in your car, no matter where you at in life, go and meet the challenge of yourself and do the impossible. Right? The creator of all is not picking on you. You are being pointed out, and you can get through it. Okay? Greater things than this shall you do. So no matter where you at and what you're going through, you are not alone. Help is there. And the first place you find help is inside yourself. Look deep inside yourself. Look deep inside yourself and find you and meet the challenge of yourself. You are your greatest challenge. It ain't the world, it ain't the job, it ain't the wife, it ain't the kids, it ain't the white man, the black man, it ain't the system. The greatest challenge is you, and you can meet it.
That gave me angel bumps.
Beautiful.
Well, we are the chosen ones, correct?
Yes, we are.
Yes,
I'm looking at him. I'm looking at him.
Every single one of us are the chosen ones. We just have to realize that.
Absolutely.
So we have really, really enjoyed having you here.
I loved it. I
think that we should have you on again.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so
Now I know how to get on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for our viewers, please check him out on Instagram or TikTok. He shows up live. He does yoga and breathwork, meditation. So stay tuned. Go find I am. And enjoy the breath of life.
Thank you.
And Deborah says this has been such a fascinating and practical experience learning from you. I am. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and truth and light.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Salutations.
And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. And
in 2 weeks, okay.
2 weeks. Yes, our next show is in 2 weeks.
I'll be following now.
We will have Myrna. Myrna is the palm reader.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, you're there's so much that she's not just she's not a fortune teller. I mean, there is so much that is in the palms of your hands. And did you
Mm.
know that even the palms of your hands change every 6 months or so? So
Yes, yes, yes.
So, yeah, she's going to be really interesting. But we're going to have you on again because you are
I
just
will.
an
Whenever
enlightening.
you're ready.
All right.
Thank you
You
so
have to
much,
be one
brother.
of our regulars.
Okay.
Have a pleasant weekend, my dear. Thank you kindly.
No-
I will see you soon.
yes, namaste.
Namaste. Good night.
As we close this space, we invite you to carry forward what resonated and gently release what no longer belongs. Remember, healing is not something you seek outside yourself. It lives within you, moving through the heart, guided by wisdom and held in truth. Whether you joined us live or found this conversation in your own time, trust that you arrived exactly when you were meant to. Until we meet again, walk in beauty, walk in remembrance, and keep the fire of your soul lit.